Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Analytics Sports Pod. We're doing our Super Bowl special today. I'm Emil here with Ethan Love, Spencer Grant, Brendan O'Donnell, and we're going to dive straight into it, starting to all the people that do not have their current team in the Super Bowl. All non-Patriots, non-Seahawks fans. The story's been all about them, but we have to care about us too. Cowboys fans, 49ers fans, whatever the case may be. So, guys, we have to start with our reasons for why would you even be interested in this game? Why would you want to watch this game if your team's not in it? I'm going to start with number 5 on this top 5 list. I'm going to go for the commercials. I'm going to give a shout out to Pistachios for having the best food commercial throughout the years. Also, a few years ago, the channel changing commercial from Tubi, I believe it was 2023. That was another good one. There's always talk about the amount of money it takes to get a commercial into the Super Bowl, and the marketing teams always get creative. That's one of my reasons for that being a reason to watch. Ethan?
Yeah, Emil, the commercials are always great. Doritos, always a classic. Yep. I like the Clydesdales Budweiser. But for number 4, I'm going to go with the halftime show. This year, we got Bad Bunny, so we got our first Latin artist, and to commemorate.
Yeah, we're definitely excited and ready for that.
Hey, if Bad Bunny isn't your thing too, Green Day is doing the opening like before the Super Bowl even starts. So there's a cup of tea for anyone, music-wise. So definitely go see some live shows.
Another reason to do it. Absolutely. Yes, sir. All right.
Bad Bunny's the first, and what were Shakira and J-Lo doing, man?
That's
they
fair.
were there a couple years ago. You know, there was no hate or anything back then either for
Shout
them.
out to them. Shout out to
Simpler
them.
times.
Number 3 reason for the Super Bowl, I'm going with legacies being built. This is where all the trash talk starts. This is where you can either defend a player with your life or you can rat on somebody because they can't get it done. Tom Brady's the GOAT because he's won 7 rings. Eli Manning might be a Hall of Famer just because he beat that guy in the Super Bowl twice. Unless leading the league in interceptions multiple times is Hall of Fame worthy, they should just left Nathan Peterman out there, man. He'd be a Hall of Famer by now. But also on top of that, it doesn't even matter how you play it in the Super Bowl. You can build your legacy. Ben Roethlisberger had 120 yards, 2 interceptions with 9 for 21 in the 2005 Super Bowl win. Nobody remembers. They just know 2-time winner, 3-time gone to the Super Bowl, Ben Roethlisberger. I love seeing legacies being made. This is where you make it or break it as a player.
Okay. Absolutely. Legacies being built, especially when it comes to trash talk or defending a player with your life, is probably the most fun week in football, man. I'm so grateful to once again see another one. But number 2 reason why you should watch the Super Bowl if your team's not in it, we've got plenty of experiences as a Cowboy fan in this aspect. The Super Bowl parties are so much fun. Since I've been born, I've found ways to get invested in this game, mainly through the food, family, and friends time that you get, enjoying the commercials, the halftime show, the narratives being pushed, and most importantly, just the time together, enjoying watching football once again before it's gone for a long time.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, the fact that football comes to its conclusion during this weekend, because I'm sure you guys will agree, we'll stick with the number 1 right here. It's about the completion of the season, all the buildup of the whole offseason, all the buildup of every game, guys going through injuries, guys pushing through pain, all the preparation of every single game that's played, but especially this game comes down to 3 hours, 60 minutes on the clock on the football field. And 2 teams absolutely looking to put everything on the line. To me, even if your team's not in it, you're going to see an absolute dogfight between 2 teams that are looking to earn the bragging rights of the NFL. So that's our top 5 reasons for watching the Super Bowl, regardless of whether your team is in or not, but especially if your team is in. And with that said, I want to take it to the broadcast. This, like I mentioned, these 3 hours are some of the most important for NFL fans and for guys like us that just love being a part of the product and of this league. And this year we have Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on NBC on the call. I've loved what NBC has done so far this year. Love the new graphics and scorebook that they have put out and already revealed for the next year. But want to ask you guys, if you could pick the duo that's going to call this game, that's going to entertain you for the 3 hours worth of your time this Sunday, who would it be and why? You guys go for it.
I think I'll start, man. I want the NBA and NFL legend, long time. This is his 41st season of broadcasting NFL games. I want Kevin Harlan of, I believe, CBS. Man, Mr. I'm calling both games himself. I want him as my play-by-play analyst. Wouldn't have anybody else. The energy that that dude brings, no matter if it's a preseason game or a postseason game, it might as well be the same thing. And in the analyst spot, I was kind of going back and forth between two former players, but give me JJ Watt. I think since he's joined the CBS network, I believe the past couple seasons, he's
Yeah.
showed, or maybe this was his first season, I believe. Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
he's kind of taken
But
it by storm, right? Just kind
yeah,
of got plugged in, and he's been doing a great
mhm.
job.
I think most networks really have figured out that having a former player as an analyst is really the
Yeah,
best, resource that they could have. But JJ Watt, the way that he speaks about the game from such a not only knowledgeable but passionate perspective, like he wants the fans, both casual and advanced, and everybody in between, to really understand why certain plays happen the way that they do. And as
yeah.
somebody that loves the game and loves trying to understand things that I don't already know, I think he does a great job of that. So give me Kevin Harlan, JJ Watt, dream team.
You're kind of selling me on JJ Watt there. You usually wouldn't have such a veteran and legendary announcer with a rookie, but might give JJ Watt a chance. Guys,
And
anyone else?
that's kind of where I'm falling. I'm going with a legend and then a newer guy in the booth room, but also a legend in his own right. I'd be with Al Michaels and Tom Brady in the booth. I would love it. Al Michaels, 81 years old. I am just loving that he's done it for this long. He called the miracle on ice
Wow.
way
Yeah.
before I was born, man. This dude knows history between all sports. He's lived through it all. He's called it all. And what I love with Tom Brady is this is the GOAT right here for the NFL. And if he got to call this game specifically, seeing his team
Yeah,
in the Super Bowl and he gets to call it again just a couple years after he's out of the league would be absolutely insane. And I love how Tom Brady calls things before they happen, similar to the Tony Romo style that started when Romo started doing it as well. They can just see the plays before they happen. They can see if the offense is struggling. You hear Tom Brady going, call timeout, call timeout, call timeout, and then broken play happens. He just knows. He sees the field better than the
yeah.
quarterbacks even on the field. And I'm learning as if I was in the quarterback's position, listening to the coach, helmet on. Tom Brady's talking to me like I'm right there with him in the game, and I love that. So I would love to see Al Michaels and Tom Brady in the booth together for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, 100%. And, a quick note on that. Tom Brady actually came out this year and said he is not rooting for anyone particularly. So despite, thinking that he would have the Patriots alliance right there, must be some bad blood there, but definitely legendary. Ethan, we'll let you go next with your duo.
All right, I'm going to do you guys one better. I'm going to give you a sideline reporter, too, for the game.
Okay.
I'm
There
gonna
you
start
go.
with my play-by-play.
Okay.
And I'm calling up Gus Johnson from college.
Yes.
He's done NFL before, and it is absolutely electric. Just
Mhm.
the sheer joy that he brings to the game. Could you imagine that in the Super Bowl? Like, on
100%.
like a play that could be an all-timer and having, like, a Gus Johnson voice crack on it. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be absolutely legendary. And for my analyst, I'm calling up someone that is currently in retirement, and that
Okay.
is John Gruden.
Okay.
I'm calling
like
up
this.
John Gruden, and he was so electric on Monday Night Football when he did that. He's funny, which is what you need. Like, their personalities would contrast so well.
Mhm.
And this kind of leads into my sideline reporter, which I'm calling up Pat McAfee to go on the sideline.
There we
and talk
go.
to
Oh,
these
man.
players. This is going to be the all-time entertainment
Yeah.
Super Bowl sportscaster roster. Like, you're telling Gus Johnson, John Gruden, and Pat McAfee would be absolute peak for the Super Bowl.
It's like a
I'm
WWE
in a
lineup.
little bit. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm in a little bit of disagreement there just because I feel like Pat McAfee is not straight to the point. Love him, love the podcast style content. But if we have 30 seconds to get to the sideline reporting and this guy's kind of going all over the place, that might irritate me as a viewer. And you guys might say that's boring, and you guys might continue to say that I'm boring because I'm actually going to pick an existing duo. I'm going to pick Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from ESPN.
Classic.
Just because
I thought about
Joe Buck, yes, and here's the thing. Joe Buck, ever since he stopped trying to be Pat Summerall and kind of be monotone and boring, he has actually become one of the most electric announcers in the entire NFL, despite people not giving him his credit. And now the second thing with Troy Aikman that I like about this duo, not only is there some Cowboys sprinkle into the Super Bowl, well, it's the only Super Bowl sprinkle we'll get in there probably in the next few years or a lot of years.
More than a few.
I also like, of course. I also like that Troy Aikman keeps it 100% a buck. If he believes a player made a mistake, he calls it out. If he thinks a coach made a mistake, he calls it out. If he thinks the refs made a mistake, he calls that out. A lot of people are hesitant to do that. My second duo that's going to be the honorable mention is going to be Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. I know a lot of people are also kind of polarized by Tony Romo. I love the guessing of the plays, and Jim Nantz is an iconic voice. But definitely Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, favorite duo by far right now. We won't get that this year. We'll get Chris Collinsworth, who is highly criticized, and Mike Tirico, who is one of the GOATs. Definitely love him. But we have to move on to what's actually going to happen on the field, not just on the broadcast booth. And just these two teams, right? Seattle and New England, they have turned their teams around extremely quickly after being losing teams either 2 seasons ago or last season. So what can you guys really attribute to that happening either for New England or for Seattle or for both? Is it kind of the coaching? Is it some of the signings they've made? Or is it specific players balling out? What do you guys think has led to this change and them being on this stage?
Well, Emil, with most teams that make it to the Super Bowl, there's some kind of culmination of all of the factors that you brought up. But when you look at a team like New England, for example, that was 4-13 last year, for them to turn things around as dramatically as they have to have a coach that A, embodies your culture. I think B, really is defensively minded to help out, especially when you have a young quarterback that you're looking to kind of build the confidence of, especially through some tougher competition. And you have to have good coordinators, which they have in their offensive coordinator that has helped. Why am I blanking on his name? Josh McDaniels, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. And so when you look at their uncharacteristic, now that they're in the Super Bowl, their 1-2 start where they lost to the Raiders and the Steelers, they rattled off 13 of 14 wins with impressive road wins at Baltimore, Buffalo, and Tampa Bay at the time. I know a lot of people, myself included, have been a little skeptical of their schedule going through the season, but winning 13 of 14 games in the NFL, no matter who you're playing, is incredibly difficult to do. And I think the main reason for that turnaround is really just their coaching. They've got guys ready to go to war for them, and through thick and thin, they've been able to, have that. And we've seen it with teams like Chicago and Jacksonville too, like teams that have a lot of talent, but that really need a coach that will band everybody together and make the vision come to life.
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up with a defensive coach as well. Both of these guys having defensive backgrounds, obviously Vrabel as a player and then as a defensive-minded coach, then Coach McDonald. And I want to get into him first because he led a historic 2023 Ravens defense. It was the first team in NFL history to lead the league in sacks, points allowed per game, and takeaways. This was really one of the best defenses we've seen all time. It was unfortunate that Lamar Jackson kind of wasn't able to come through in the playoffs and make that a Super Bowl team.
Wasn't that when Mark Andrews dropped it?
No, not quite. It was the year before. It was a matchup with the Chiefs. Lamar was only able to score 10 points. Lamar and the Ravens.
The Zay Flowers fumbles.
Yes, correct.
Zay Flowers fumbled into the end zone.
The point I was getting at is that coach, that man leading your team is 100% what flips it around. As soon as he comes in, they go 10-7 despite Geno Smith being one of the top leaders in turnovers in the NFL. Then the next season, you have a Sam Darnold that leads the league in turnovers with 20 total, and you still have one of the top defenses in the league and go 14-3 and get the 1 seed. So to me, it's 100% the coaching in Seattle, despite some of the free agency additions they made with Lawrence, with drafting Nick Emenwari, right? But then looking at the Patriots as well, Mike Vrabel led some pretty average Tennessee Titans teams to be in the 1 seed or to the AFC Championship. And he did that exact same thing with the Patriots now, turning them around from 4-13 to 13-4. So to me, the competence of the GM to bring the right pieces in definitely matters, but it's always about the head coach. We saw it with Bill Belichick for years. That is the man that makes 100% of difference on a franchise.
Yeah, Emil, I completely agree. But I think the main thing is cheap quarterbacks. When you
Okay.
have a cheap quarterback, you are able to build out your roster to the fullest extent and use your salary cap and spend money to fill holes that you're pretty weak at. Sam
That's
Darnold, I'm
fair.
not saying that is a cheap contract by any means, but relative
Yeah.
to the salary cap and relative to
Sure.
what other quarterbacks are making, it's a pretty cheap deal
Right.
considering
30
everything else.
million versus Tua making north
Yeah,
of 55
exactly.
and
It's
Jalen
it's
Hurts, right? I
very
get that.
economical considering the rest of the league, and then Drake May is obviously still on his rookie
A rookie
contract.
deal.
And outside of Mahomes in these recent years, when have we really seen a quarterback that takes up that much money that can really handicap a team? Look at the Dolphins. You mentioned Tua. That can
Yeah.
really handicap a team. And now that these quarterbacks are getting paid, Josh Allen, you see how weak the Bills are because when you don't hit on draft picks like that and you're paying your quarterback that much money, it's just a recipe for utter disaster. So I think having the cheap quarterbacks, you look at both of these defenses with their defensive head coach, like you guys mentioned, it
Yeah.
sets them up for success in the best way possible.
So you're crediting the GM in that matter, or is it more like a time frame thing?
It's both. I mean, you really have to hit on your
Yeah.
draft picks, and then the GM, you have to go out and execute. Like when you look at a team, like I know they're not in this, but like when you look at the Saints and you think you have your quarterback,
Yeah.
you've got to go out and spend now while he's on that rookie deal and capitalize on that time frame that
100%.
you're going to have.
Yep.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense.
I'm sticking with the GMs have been on really good runs here. Elliott Wolf with the Patriots and John Schneider with the Seahawks. John Schneider got off of Russell Wilson at the perfect time. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Russ went from being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL to the Broncos, and everybody thought he was mid, and now everybody thinks he's trash. Like this is actually going to hurt some of his legacy unless he retires now, and we hopefully start remembering the Super Bowls and let Russ cook and all the times that we believed in Russell Wilson as one of the best quarterbacks. But he got
Yeah.
off of him, and he got guys like Devon Witherspoon with some of those draft picks and Mafe as well, and they've really built a great defense here. And then to bring in a quarterback like Sam Darnold and prove that he can win big games, John Schneider had the trust, and he built this team to be as good as it is and to be one of the best DVOA rated teams of all time. You got to give the GM a lot of credit. Similar with Elliott Wolf, Bill Belichick was the de facto or was the GM for a long time until they fired Belichick. They finally hired a GM, and they had Gerard Mayo as well. You got Elliott Wolf, who drafts Drake May,
Yeah.
and starts building around him. And I still don't feel like this team has a lot of offensive firepower, but it feels a lot like the Tom Brady teams of old, where you just find a way to get it done with this offense. Kayshon Boutte is still a really good deep threat. You bring in Stephon
Yeah.
Diggs, who everybody thought was old and washed, and he's cooking with this team. And of course, you've helped build a solid defense, and you brought in Mike Vrabel. And I've been a big believer in Mike Vrabel that he is also a big culture changer as well. I mean, with the Titans, he made it as the 1 seed with Ryan Tannehill. And the only reason
Yeah.
he was fired was because of a power struggle over roster creation with Amy Adams, the team's owner. That's it. He wasn't fired because he was a bad coach. So you bring in a
Yeah.
competent coach, you draft a good quarterback, and then you build around them in solid ways where I think this team could be even better in these future years if they hit on some better offensive weapons for Drake May.
No, I fully agree with that. It's definitely a shout to the GMs. You mentioned the coaches; they do play a factor. I think they played the bigger factor, but definitely a shout out to the GMs. Bringing in Sam Darnold was a huge gamble, just because of the kind of collapse that we saw of him as a Minnesota Viking towards the end of 2 seasons ago. Then for the Patriots, it wasn't just bringing in Vrabel as a defensive coach, but bringing in defensive pieces, with Spillane and Milton Williams and Harold Landry, guys that had some familiarity, but also added some defensive firepower. You're absolutely right. I think the Patriots, they're set to add more offense in the future. But to me, and we'll get into now which one of these GMs and which one of these coaches and the reason why they're here, which one will come out on top between them. I think now it's going to be about the Patriots defense. It's been about the Patriots defense throughout the playoffs. This is a team that has only allowed 8.7 points per game, 209 yards per game, 30% on third down, and has 8 turnovers forced and 1 touchdown to only 2 touchdowns allowed so far these playoffs. I really don't want to hear about the snow. I don't want to hear about playing CJ Stroud or Justin Herbert. This Patriots defense is truly making one of the most iconic playoff pushes, and it's going to lead them to a Super Bowl, in my opinion. I know that was a quick pivot. We'll get right into y'all's picks. Can anybody counter that?
Emil, I've been so with you up to this point. I can absolutely counter that because as easy as the Patriots' schedule seemed in the regular season, their defense is phenomenal. Okay, and they have
Yes.
faced three really good to phenomenal defenses on this run. The difference with the playoffs for them has been an anemic Chargers offense with no offensive line for Justin Herbert, who, as much as I love him, has been a notorious playoff underperformer. Curse of
Okay.
Dean Spanos and the Chargers. That's fine. You've got C.J. Stroud, the fifth best QB in the AFC South. Okay, turning the ball over. What do you have? 5 picks and 5 fumbles over the span
Hey,
of 2 games.
but here's my argument in
Yeah.
that.
And no Nico Collins.
Where's the credit for the Patriots for forcing a super high pressure rate during that game, over 60%, for them being able to catch the interceptions in the snow, in the sleet that actually caused CJ Stroud to make some of these bad decisions and had some throws kind of be offline as a result of the weather? Where's the credit for the Patriots defense there when they're the ones forcing the turnovers and applying the pressure and dominating this unit?
I'll give you that to a degree, that the pressure rate that they sense, because here's the thing with CJ Stroud, without making this a video about him, the second something starts to go wrong, he absolutely crumbles mentally and emotionally.
Sure.
His first pick along the sideline was absolutely horrendous. He threw it so far behind the receiver, both the receiver and the DB both had eyes widened in shock, like, how is this ball coming to me? And that blitz that they sent, where he just kind of threw up that YOLO ball for no reason, that's a play where you have to either throw it
On the
away or
pick
eat the
six.
sack, because the
Yeah.
Patriots, to their credit, got in the backfield so fast. So he didn't really have any choice, but he didn't have to do that. And then we get to the poor Denver Broncos in a blizzard. Forget Sean Payton for not kicking that field goal and hanging Jarrett
Yeah.
Stidham out to dry, but you still faced Jarrett Stidham. Again, you played a defense that was just as good, if not better, on paper than the Patriots defense has been. I mean, Drake May, outside of like 1 or 2 throws, he didn't play a great game. And I understand the conditions and the win was there. Drake May has not been overly sensational in these playoffs. So defenses have been able to have their way with this Patriots offense. The Patriots defense has yet to play an offense that has any type of competency in the postseason. That changes with Seattle. Seattle is going, not to take anything away from New England's defense, they have not seen this Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, and their tight end. Who's their tight end? Who's their
Barner,
tight end?
I got Barner
right?
and then Arroyo.
AJ Barner. Yep. And
Yes.
in this scheme, I'm taking Seattle 31-28
Hey,
because
you said
Patriots
it
BS
yourself.
is very real.
You said it yourself. It's hard to be an NFL team and win 13 out of 14 games. It's hard to be an NFL team no matter who they put in front of you. Win 3 straight games to make it to the Super Bowl. You know, we'll
fair.
let some of the other Seattle takers go ahead and take us there if you'd like, but I'll save my Seattle talk after one of you guys.
Come on, Ethan, back me up here.
I'm not backing you up. I am 100% out on the Seahawks, man. I can't do it in good conscience. I cannot do it. And I'm going to tell you why, even though I'm gaslighting myself here a little bit. I'm just going to put that out there. But Sam Darnold, it's been a little bit, it's never been on him. It has not been on him all season. Their run game has been good. Their defense has been good. He's had some stinkers. In the games they have lost, he has had some stinkers. And do we think that we're going to get a little bit of Jet Sam Darnold? He's going to see the Patriots and get freaked out like he's back.
Hey, it's the Super Bowl. It's a big stage. He might see the crowd and get spooked.
You know what this reminds me of? You know, I'm gonna do a little bit of a comparison here. This feels like 2019 49ers with Jimmy G. It really does. It really, really does. And that did not go well. That did not go well at all. And I think Sam Darnold is about to go out there and lay a gigantic egg. A gigantic egg.
Okay.
And the Patriots just need to do their thing and play the Patriot way like they always have. and they'll go out, and even though it might not make any sense, they're going to somehow win the game.
Brendan, are we going to make it an even split 2-2, or are we going all Patriots against Spencer right here?
This is not going to be an even split.
Wow.
This is
Let's
I
go.
can
I love
can
it.
see the future now. I can see the headlines, man. This is going to be an emotional take, not statistics based at all. Matt Stafford's winning the MVP, and then come Monday morning, who cares about MVP? Drake May, Super Bowl MVP. Drake May's on top of the world. Another headline: Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again. It's coming. I'm just seeing these guys. I
The
don't understand
journalistic
why
element.
I can't buy into the Seahawks team. I see all the statistics. I totally get that they're one of the best rated defenses in a long time. I just don't feel that way. And maybe it's because I've been rooting for the Rams and I've seen the Rams beat them and play them close both times and put up points on this defense that's supposed to be historic. This
Yeah.
Patriots defense is actually doing historic things, like you were saying, 8.7 points per game in a 3-game span as well,
Yep.
against pretty competent quarterbacks who now script's totally flipped on them, besides Jared Stidham, of course, who he just needed to do his best. Stroud and Herbert are good quarterbacks, and now going into next season, they've lost a lot of believers. They
It's
really
like the
have. They're going to
goalposts
have to buy
moved
people back. The goalposts have definitely
as
moved
soon
for
as the
those guys.
Patriots. Yeah, and I'll back the 3 points that you guys both made, Ethan and Brendan. Number one, the Drake May Super Bowl MVP propaganda. You talk about him not making that many plays, but it seems like he had the game-winning scramble against the Broncos and had enough with his legs, over 70 yards on broken plays, to lead them to that victory. Number two, the Sam Darnold seeing ghost. This is a guy that, like I mentioned earlier, led the NFL in turnovers with 20 in the regular season. The last quarterback to lead the NFL in turnovers and win the Super Bowl was 2007 Eli Manning. We talked about him earlier.
Mhm.
I know he beat the Patriots in that time. It's not happening again. And number three, you say this Seattle defense, by the metrics, by the regular season stats, is historic. I saw the Rams put up 479 total yards on this team. I saw Stafford throw 3 passing touchdowns and have 160 to Puka Nacua. And if it wasn't for a muff punt, which was the only turnover that the Rams had, we're looking at a completely different matchup right here. So you're right. I'm not scared by the Seattle defense. I think Drake May lives up to the challenge and ends up being the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl and maybe even wins the MVP as well. We'll see. And ever in NFL history. So, like you said, we're seeing the future right here. It's not just the headlines, it's also the stats. And also, I'll give you this last little nugget right here. I trust an offensive coordinator in McDaniels that has been there and won Super Bowls with the Patriots. I trust a head coach in Mike Vrabel that has been deep in the playoffs with the Tennessee Titans versus a new head coach in McDonald with an offensive coordinator that already took the Raiders' job. That's just me.
Yeah, Kubiak's checked out, and hey, I just want y'all to go look up Anthony Bradford. Enough said.
Wow, Spencer, we have you a little stuck here.
Just gonna be
you got to fire
man.
back. What's going on?
Here's the thing, man. I wouldn't even be that upset with taking the Patriots if I wasn't so damn sick of them throughout my entire life. And I think it's easy. I can understand where y'all are coming from. We saw Seattle win 1 Super Bowl on the back of a truly historic defense and then completely choke another one away. All we know is that the Patriots win Super Bowls. So I'm not mad at that being y'all's take. But had Sam Darnold not had the best statistical game of his career against the Rams, who really, I forget what his turnover numbers were exactly, but against the Rams specifically, it was like he was playing an entirely different game of football for the worse against the Rams specifically. Just about everybody else that they played, the other 15 games, he had significantly less turnovers.
It was
like
six interceptions against the Rams in the regular season.
6
against
or 7.
everybody else, it was around 10-ish.
Okay.
A little bit less than 10. So
over the course of 15 games, which isn't great, but isn't terrible. But against the Rams, watching him play as well as he did and sling that ball, I don't know, dude. He looks more locked in than I've ever seen him, and I think this Seattle team, they just watching that NFC Championship ceremony. McDonald looks locked in. Sam Darnold looks locked in. And I'm not even saying like trying to discredit Drake May and think that he's going to be the one seeing ghosts because I don't. He's had pretty solid nerves of steel throughout this year. The scrambles against
Mhm.
Denver were nice, but I I think this Seattle defense deserves a little bit more credit than they've been getting just because they got
Yeah.
shredded by Matthew Stafford, future Hall of Famer, probable NFL MVP twice in divisional matchups. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. And I'm so sick of New England. I need y'all to be wrong, and you're gonna see me walking into this next episode like,
And that's
okay,
the thing. That's the thing. We can only give our opinion, but the field, the stadium, the play by these players, the preparation by all these coaches, everything that goes into this game is what's going to decide it. Whether that is redemption for the Seahawks for the 1 yard line tragedy a little bit over 10 years ago, or whether that is a new dynasty for the New England Patriots, getting Super Bowl ring number 7 with a 23-year-old quarterback and terrorizing the rest of the NFL for the rest of their time. So all we
God
can do
help us
now
all.
is wait. God help us all. All we can do is wait. San Francisco, Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be a great one. Thank you guys for being a part of this, and we'll just have to see you on Sunday.